Tourist destinations can be like new restaurants. Word gets out, people create a buzz, and soon there are long lines to get in. On Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, you'll find the once sleepy beach village of Tulum. In a decade, it's gone from hammock heaven to the hottest spot in the sun, full of chic bungalow hotels. Business is booming, but some worry it could end up a victim of its own success. America's Now correspondent Jerry Haddon has more.
It's dawn, and Ciro Caché is combing Tulum's beach for empty beer cans. They're the day's first clue to the huge changes underway here.
Tulum está creciendo demasiado. Sí, porque cuando comenzó solo era un pueblito. Y ahora ya es una ciudad.
Staring out to sea, at least, Tulum seems the same tranquil place it's always been. But just follow Caché inland. Once upon a time, well, actually just 10 years ago, there was little development along Tulum's beach road. Just a handful of backpacker campgrounds, your room, a hammock, a tent, maybe a thatched roof hut. The luxury places, you could count them on 3 fingers. But now, Tulum has got that thing. The cool have found it, the cool with a capital C. Like some urban neighborhood or a new cocktail, Tulum is, in a word that makes hoteliers and investors smile, trendy.
My name is Kevin.
My name is Scott. My name is Chris. I live in Miami currently.
I'm from New York City.
New York City. See a lot of people from New York.
I heard about Tulum.
This is my 3rd time.
My roommate.
I am in Tulum right now on a first date.
She had been here before.
Well, a first date that just kind of got a little out of control and wound up in Tulum.
I decided to, on a whim, come down here for my birthday.
It's kind of chic. There's people kind of in the know here.
And best decision ever.
It's almost like I hate to say this, but a tropical Williamsburg.
People in the know arriving from Cancun Airport to the north on a new highway replacing the old 2-laner, past places that look straight out of Vegas. The sounds of nightlife here are no longer birds and insects.
Cuéntame de los cambios que has visto. Cuando llegaste estaba más virgen, más salvaje, más tranquilo.
Pues sí, virgen. Virgen, mira, te lo digo así fácil. Aquí, en esta parte, así como ves, no existía esto. Era una casa normal, ¿no? Así como de que yo vivía, de hecho, en la casa de al lado, y luego en una palapa de atrás no había paredes, solamente los mosquiteros. Y ahora pues no encuentras nada de eso, ¿no? Ahorita encuentras una planta de luz del lugar que está trabajando aquí al lado.
There didn't used to be electricity out here at all. The recent boom in hotel building has outstripped what capacity there is. That sense of frontier tourism, of needing candles should the lights go out, is part of Tulum's charm.
We were just looking for something nearby, and I think that this just stood out to us as a place that could be different and more of an adventure
than other places. Some kind of style, like smaller little like hut-type places, sort of like
more boutique.
Boutique, but for how much longer?
I saw a wedding the other day on the beach. We're right now in the middle of turtle season, and they had a beam light to the water and loud music. Some years ago, that was just unheard of. Everybody was so protective of the beach, and you couldn't have lights or loud noises on turtle season.
When does the jungle become too cool? In fact, the cool coast, stretching from Tulum north to Akumal, wouldn't even have arisen had it not been for a couple of sisters who visited in 2005. Wilma, then Emily. The Category 5 hurricanes dumped and blew, laying waste to the little stick huts along the coast.
There's like 10 of us in town during Wilma, and we were just walking around, just watching one thing after another, just getting wiped out. And that was Thursday night, and then we were holed up all day Friday, all day Saturday. Sunday we kind of was able to get out, but not really. And then we showed up here, and then we opened on Monday. Everything oceanfront was destroyed.
Do you worry
that your little oasis here could be disturbed?
Oh, definitely. It already has been. The problem what you have here is it's easier to pay for forgiveness than to ask permission. Like, perfect example is what's going on right here with the Secrets Hotel. You know, we have a 400-bedroom hotel. They've resold a bunch of the mangroves and little gardens work behind us here that was all never supposed to be sold. We've just been sold, and they're talking about developing it.
A coastline wiped clean by storm became a chance not to just rebuild what there was, but to do it even bigger. The new hotel sits right on Akumal's Turtle Beach. The tourism here keeps local tour guide Melchior Gamboa busy, but also up at night, worrying.
Oye, pero esto es macizo. Hace 10 años no había tanta gente aquí mirando.
Sí, hace 10 años no había tanta gente. Acá en un día bueno, soleado, vacaciones, hasta 5,000 personas al día.
¿Cómo ves el futuro de la tortuga aquí?
Pues lo veo muy crítico. Si no hay responsabilidad de parte del gobierno, de las asociaciones, de las dependencias que deben de cuidar esto, se va a perder todo.
Beginning with the turtles themselves, there are roughly 50 of them who feed and spawn here. But how long would you hang around, accosted by daily swarms of overhead snorkelers, big spastic bubble makers who block your sun? As head of an Akumal tourism cooperative, Gamboa worries about the turtles. He and most locals live in the other half of Akumal, across a bridge on the far side of the highway from the beach. Few tourists make it over here. Gamboa says the big hotel owners at the beach want to fence his people out.
Por caminar 40 metros de la carretera a la playa, tendríamos que pagar 300 pesos por persona. Entonces eso es lo que dificulta.
Esto quita el beneficio del negocio.
Exactamente.
The hoteliers say they're the ones trying to protect the turtles by restricting tours. However it may be, revenues from all that tourism don't seem to reach the village here. But local governments say villages like Akumal are growing faster than they can pay for asphalt, new streetlights, and sewers.
¿Sabes cuándo vienen a hacer limpieza, a reparar focos, a limpiar un poquito la avenida? Una semana, 2 semanas antes de cada elección.
Gamboa's hope is to prevent another kind of growth, of an entrenched ring of local poverty around the tourist areas, the kind of misery that encircles Cancun or Acapulco, before it's too late. His idea is simple. Let everybody win. The locals, the big hotels, the tourists, the turtles. If not, everyone could lose. The tourism pressure has reached beyond the beaches to the inland cenotes, the peninsula's unique waterholes that dot the region. They are the source of fresh water for animals, from birds to jaguars, and they're a hell of a lot of fun for people too. How can you not jump into these things? The problem is the cenotes are all connected. Beneath the surface flows a single aquifer. Paul Sanchez has dedicated years to raising awareness of this fragile system.
All this water is the same underneath. It's in the same aquifer. So if everyone's jumping in here with suntan lotion on or using it as a restroom, that means those pollutants are getting spread everywhere.
Once again, there aren't enough studies to make definitive statements on that, but you can figure 600 people, 1,000 people a day jumping into here with sweat and suntan lotion, and let's say some may go to the bathroom in the cenote. Then you do have an impact that we haven't measured yet, and it impacts mostly the fish in the cenote, but also the quality of water. Then that water's not treated for those things. And so this same water, you saw hotels on the other side of the highway, this same water is coming out in the showers, for example, on the other side. All that's sort of mixed. With the underground system you have here, that's kind of what connects everything, the biodiversity, the reef, the people, the tourism. It's all connected through the water.
Cenotes are everywhere, on public lands, on private. Sanchez says there's no master plan for their protection, which explains why one is pristine, the other like a theme park.
If we can sit down and talk about management with the authorities, with how it's reviewed, how the place is developed, you could probably protect the cenotes for the wildlife and also have areas where you have tourism, because it's a fantastic place to enjoy clear fresh water on a hot summer day.
So the idea isn't that people don't get to visit these places,
No.
It's finding a balance.
Exactly.
A balance that ultimately must favor the environment, because when this dirty water reaches the sea, it contributes to this: algae, seagrass. It's food for turtles, but it's also a sign of oxygen-starved waters, of high levels of acidity caused by man-made pollutants. At the big hotels, tractors rake it up and burn it daily. but elsewhere it's formed a stinky, gunky blockade stretching for miles on end. South of Tulum begins the Sian Khan biosphere, a huge protected reserve of jungle, mangroves, coastline. But pollutants don't obey such designations, observes Jose Suarez, a fisherman in the tiny village of Punta Allen, a 2-hour drive from Tulum. Suarez and his pals are alarmed. They know they can't stop the seaweed or its effects on their small-time tourism, but they might just be able to save what they've lived on for generations: lobsters. These guys do lobsters right. First off, they don't trap them. They offer them shade and shelter under these steel slabs. The lobsters are free to come and go. During the day, they stay put. Catching them is this easy. It's a brilliant idea, at least for these waters. The only occasional problem: dolphins will sometimes flip the traps in search of crunchy snacks. But they're easy to flip back. With the catch on board, Suarez does something relatively new. He throws back the juveniles and the pregnant ones. This despite the growing demand from the new eateries up the coast and overseas.
Ves el oro al fondo del mar y lo dejas, un poco raro.
No, este oro crece, el oro de ano este crece, se reproduce, sigue la mata dando, como dicen, sigue. Entonces, si nosotros lo cuidamos, más da. Es como regarla.
Suarez, it would seem, is onto something that might help save the entire Yucatan from the nearly irresistible call to cash in on tourism, thinking sustainably. Back in Tulum, sustainable means realizing there's room for both hipster and hippie. At least that's what yoga teacher Loarna tries to impart during her beachside classes at a swank hotel.
Everyone's on the beach and it's just one unifying place.
And it's okay that there are all those things.
Totally.
Rich resorts, backpacker places, cheap restaurants, celebrity chefs.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, it really is. It really is, because these are all the facets of our society. So there's no point in saying one's better than the other. It's just where everyone's at and what everyone's exploring.
Loarna teaches at a high-end joint, but lives at a budget campground, like this one, where budget traveler Matt Lesser stays. Lesser's a Reiki healer from Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Show me where paradise is.
This is it.
This is
my
it.
home away from
This
home.
is your REI tent.
And then also, it's great because I can do the leather work right there. So I just sort of sit down and this is my office.
Fantastic. What a far cry from the brick and asphalt of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I found it actually by accident and we just fell in love with it. And we met all these people at the same place and they were just these loving people from Canada and all over the world. And we just had this sort of big supper and just felt like I had found my true family. I was closer to those people in that 1 week than I am to my real family.
Lesser fled Williamsburg, he says, because his hood was getting too commercialized. Cool had killed authenticity, only to be sacrificed on the altar of fast food.
I needed to get away from the whole sort of lifestyle, like the crazy energy of New York, so I came here because I wanted sort of a low-key, beautiful, like loving vibe.
Clearly, the same changes are happening here. For some, it may mean time to move on, or a chance to cash in. For others, it's part of the natural cycle of tourism. The pristine is discovered and changes forever.
According to the Mexican Tourism Board, 2014 was a record-breaking year for international tourism, with 14 million tourists visiting the country from abroad. More than half of them were from the United States.